Just a quick show of hands, how many people are just kind of getting introduced to Stream and don't know much about it? Oh, this is the perfect session for you. You are so in luck. So thanks for joining us today. I'm Christina, and I'm going to be joined by my co-presenter, Saili, who is, oh, there she is, waving her hands over there. And we are going to introduce you to Microsoft Stream. So you know what, we're also going to spend some time talking a little bit about live event capabilities, integrations into other apps like Teams and SharePoint. And so this may look familiar to you guys. This is essentially our teamwork toolkit at Microsoft. So in Office 365, we have tools like Teams, where people use to connect with groups through meetings and chat. Then we have Yammer for really those conversations that go across your organization. So for example, in Yammer, at Microsoft, I'm part of a Women in Technology group. So I talk to people all the time across my organization that I don't even know, but we're very passionate about technology, and we're passionate about being women. So the way that Stream kind of fits into this fabric is quite a bit like SharePoint. So, you know, SharePoint is kind of this underlying infrastructure that feeds files and content into all of your other scenarios. And Stream is similar to that, but with video. So we'll show you today how Stream fits into all of these places and helps to bring video out in all of the apps you use in your organization. We're going to spend most of the time demoing today, but I just want to hit on a couple points of the value prop of Stream when we introduce somebody to it, you know, the ways you can use it. So the first, Stream kind of operates as a corporate YouTube, for lack of a better term, in some ways. So organizations will use this as a portal where all of their video content is, from their corporate communications to their training, to their just, you know, ad hoc messages that they're sharing. And so in addition to that, though, like I said, we have really deep integrations, and Stream also functions as kind of the video platform for a lot of things. So for example, Teams meeting recordings leverage Stream, so you get all of the rich kind of AI capabilities that are built into Stream. And that actually leads me into my next point. We use, Stream's built on Azure Media Services, so it uses a lot of different things that are part of that, like Azure for storage. We're also using cognitive services and some of the rich technologies that give us AI to be able to navigate around our content. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually jump into a demo. And so I feel a little weird sitting down on stage doing a demo, but we'll see how this goes. All right. So and this may go without saying, but some people ask me, so I want to say it. Stream's part of Office 365. If you have Office 365, you have Stream. It's not anything extra. You get all the features and functionality. It's just there. Oh, maybe I should share my screen with you. Let me try that one. Okay. There we go. That's better. So here you can see office.com. If you go to your waffle, Stream's there too. So you guys just have Stream. So logged in, this is my Stream portal. And this is where I can see videos that are recommended to me based on what's trending across my organization. I can also see videos that have been spotlighted. And that essentially means, like, at Microsoft, when our CEO does his monthly Q&A, we have it spotlighted, so when people come to their portal, they see it right away. And then as I go down the screen a little bit, I can see the concept of my watch list. And this is just kind of, you know, throughout your day, you see all kinds of content, videos, things, even in your personal life that you don't have time to watch. So the watch list is really just an easy way to pin them here, and you can come back and watch them whenever you do have time. And channels, these are all my channels. You can see that I'm following some of these. So channels just serve as a way to organize content in certain groups. We have our marketing channels, we have our HR channels, and within there, you can just find all of your videos. And actually, I don't think I have any new videos posted here, but when new content's posted, you also get a little indicator, so you know. So when you're following a channel, you can come back and there would be a little thing here telling me that's a new video, you might want to check it out. So in addition to being a portal, you have the ability to create content also. And I'll show you that experience on mobile in a little bit, but here I can easily upload video, I can create a live event, which Saili will demo for us later. I can also add new channels, put new videos in them. But in addition to creation, part of the issue with video that I often hear from customers is that it's everywhere in their organization. And so having one place to put it is great, but to take that a step further, if you have thousands and thousands of videos, searching through them is really important and being able to find them. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the AI capabilities built into Stream. So I just went to my search bar and typed in the word camera. And so what you'll see is, based on that search, it pulls up all of the videos that I have access to. And you can see, actually, none of these have camera in the title. Oh, here we go. There's one in the description. But if you look below all of these videos, you see timestamps. And next to these timestamps, this is essentially every place in each of these videos where the word camera is mentioned. And so using this deep search technology, when you upload a video, all of this happens on the back end. So every word that's spoken becomes transcripted. So let's see, I'll go ahead and click on that one. And you'll see it'll take me to 1 minute and 38 seconds where Patty Fernandez is addressing the audience. And so in addition to that, with this automatic transcription, you also get some accessibility features. So closed captions happen automatically. In your settings tab, you can also adjust things like the size of the font, the size of the closed captions, the kind of background transparency, and some of the other settings that make it easier for everybody to be able to consume this content. So in addition to that, if I wanted to, I could search the transcript here as well. So let's see, I don't know what else Patty talks about. Let's see if she talks about success. Excellent. It's like I've done this before. And so if I type in the word success, you can also navigate all of the content in the video. And this is really powerful for things like Teams meetings. I don't know if you guys have heard of Teams, but it's kind of a big deal, at least at Microsoft. And so with all of your Teams meeting recordings, since they leverage Stream on the back end, if I miss a meeting, it literally takes me 5 minutes to catch up because I go back, I search for the terms that I know people have either said, Christina, make note of this, or they mentioned something that I know I'm going to need to do. And so just navigating all of your content is so much easier. In addition to the AI-provided transcript, captions, things like that, when you upload your video, you get what we call a speaker timeline. And the concept of the speaker timeline is essentially whenever somebody is on screen presenting, we capture where they show up. And so then you can easily navigate to the various people who are speaking, and you can hear directly from them. So again, just another way to kind of make video easy to search like a document, really. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump over to mobile. I think. We'll see if this works. Success. Okay. So here I am in my Stream mobile app. And it just is, without having something on a mobile app or having a mobile app for something, I find that I am a lot less likely to use it. So with this mobile app, we've seen huge adoption because everybody's remote, they have their own devices, but they still need this content to be delivered to them securely. And so a lot of those same features I just showed you carry over here. I can do that deep search to find content. Here I'll look at safety. I can see those time codes. I can jump to those. Another cool thing about the mobile app is that I can, if you see the first box here, I can make these videos available to watch offline. So when I'm flying back to Redmond, I can have this on my phone, just like I have my other Netflix videos and other things. But the great thing about this is when you make it available offline, it remains encrypted. So the encryption from Stream itself, and additionally, Stream has integrations with Intune, which is essentially Microsoft's device management software. And so if I were to lose my phone, which I've done a few times, my IT team can actually wipe it remotely. So all of this stuff is completely secure, but all the stuff is completely secure and encrypted even when it's offline. At the end, please. Yeah, thank you. Because I'm hoping you have a bunch. We're going to save some time. The other feature I want to show you is something we just launched, actually. It's the ability to securely record videos from your phone. I'll show you what you guys look like. Hi. It's a lot better than the selfie I did on the keynote stage the other day. So here, record a quick video. I'm going to go ahead and name this season, session, you know, whatever, tomato, tomato. So all right, as this is uploading, I can publish it. And the nice thing about using this is not only, like I said, is this secure, which a lot of our customers, whether they're educators in K through 12 and they make videos of their students that they want to share, you know, with parents later, or you work at Lego and you're making recordings of new toy concepts. All of that stuff is proprietary or legally, you can't really have it on your own personal device. But with BYOD, everyone uses their personal device for everything. So this video that I just made is completely secure. It never lives on my device. It only will live inside Stream and remain encrypted. And the nice thing is I can share it out easily as well. I can send a text message with this. I can email. I can share it on a Yammer group. Let me see if I have a group in here. Session, I do. New employees, post. So I can do all these things easily, and with the integrations that we have across all of the other Office apps, these videos all remain secure. And if anybody wants that video later, let me know. So with that, let me see. I wanted to show you guys one more thing. Let me go back to my screen here. Okay, so what I want to show you is how you get the mobile app. It's pretty straightforward, but I have a slide for it, so I'm going to use the slide because we took time to make it. Okay, so if you don't have the Stream mobile app yet, download it. I think that you could probably scan those things, or you can just go to aka.ms Stream iOS or Stream Android, and you can download it there and get started. So before Saili comes on stage, I just want to share, so this was one of the announcements we had around Stream, the ability to upload video content and the ability to record. We also had a couple other announcements here. One being some customized SharePoint web parts, which Saili will show you. And then also the ability to add quizzes, polls, surveys directly into your Stream videos. It is so easy. It's an integration with Microsoft Forms, and you literally copy and paste a URL. It's beautiful. So Saili, you want to come up and show everybody all this stuff? Welcome, Saili, to the stage. No.
Can I just get like a round of applause for Christina in that awesome first half? Yeah. Wow, 8:30 a.m. looks great this morning. Hello, hello. As already mentioned, my name is Saili. I'm a program manager working on Microsoft Stream, living the dream. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple quick demos. So first, I am going to switch over to this. That was fast, very cool. And it was great. Christina already gave you a quick overview of the portal, all the stuff you can do within the website, microsoftstream.com. But I want to talk a little bit about what you can do outside of microsoftstream.com, because at the end of the day, it's really up to you guys, your organizations, your companies, about how you want to consume this content. You don't necessarily need to go up to the waffle, click on the Streamfish icon, and then do all your stuff in the website, because we have this really great extended experience elsewhere. So it all depends on how you choose to work and stay productive in your day-to-day. So I guess I'll just really quickly go ahead and give you a quick demo. For example, say you're generally a Teamsy organization. I can, of course, first of all, I'm going to grab this URL because I'll save it for later. Go to Microsoft Teams, and I can go to any channel. I'm going to get out of here. I can go to any channel, create a new tab, go ahead and click on the stream icon here, and then paste this URL. So this gives you a quick integration point here. I can choose this to be a video, and put this here. Oh, it wasn't there. Put this video here. Call this the greatest tab ever. But you have to spell it right if you want it to look especially great. Go ahead and hit save. Oh my gosh. You can do the same with a channel, of course. If I just go ahead and go here. These are all the channels that I have access to and the stream group they're attributed to. If I click that and go hit save. And then this is going to render inline in Teams, and you can access all of these videos without ever having to leave Teams itself. And the cool part of this is a channel called Human Resources. Every time someone uploads a video or contributes to that channel, this will actually automatically reflect in that case. So it's not like you have to keep going back to Teams and re-updating it and keeping it up to date. We also support integrations outside the context of Teams, for example, in OneNote. And the only reason I'm staying in Teams here is because Teams also has an integration with OneNote, so this is going to get a little meta. But this is something that actually works really well for collaborating with members of your team. So if you look at your conversations here, I had a couple of videos posted, and we had like a meeting sync and a meeting recording if you guys use those at Teams. And Teams meeting recordings are actually pretty cool. If you're already having a Teams meeting, then you have every opportunity to record it. And basically what that means is if people weren't able to join that meeting because it was 8:30 a.m. in Vegas and they just didn't want to get out of bed, that's completely fine, because the entire presentation, whatever's presented, the slides, the audio, everything is automatically captured. And if you record it, it automatically gets sent to stream, of course, as the backend. And then that's where, as Christina mentioned, that's where you get the deep search. When you embed videos in that case, you can still search for that content. I can search for every time my manager yelled at me by looking at my name. And then that is all distributed equally across Teams. So we also have a great integration with OneNote. So I'm going to go ahead and go to a tab that I already created, which houses all of my meeting recordings. So it renders inline because OneNote knows that if I pop this URL into it, that this is a stream video. Oops. And it just authenticates and allows for playback really fast, really quick inline. I really hope I'm muted because I don't want you guys to have to listen to all that. And that's just within Teams. If you're more of a SharePoint organization, then you can go to any of the sites that you, of course, are an owner of. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. Oops, I'm not an owner of that one. This one should work. And I can easily add a stream web part. Now you have a couple options with the web parts that have newly been added, which is kind of cool. We have this new default all of stream option as far as web parts goes, and what that means is when that's selected, and that is the actual default, we automatically populate the web part with all of the valid trending content that's currently in your portal. And that sort of adds on to what we were talking about earlier, which is sometimes you just want to add a integration, you want to set it and forget it. You don't want to keep updating what the current interesting content is. You just want to say this is what's there, and then every week when new people upload videos, that's what's going to show up, and you don't have to go back and keep updating those videos. So with Olive Stream, you're allowed to choose what your trending content is. You can do it based on publish date, views, likes, so whether it's more popular or whether it's trending or whether more people are liking it. You can even search for a specific filtered term. So I can say, I want every town hall or every video that refers to town halls to be rendered in there, or every important video ever. I can just type in important. And anything that mentions important things, that's titled important things, that'll just show up there automatically. And of course, it supports the single video and channel options that we know and love already. And as you guys probably already know, we released this a while ago, but you can also sort and search based on channels. Next, we have Yammer. Yammer works very similarly to the way OneNote does, where if you have a video URL and you want to talk about it, you can just go ahead and paste that in there. Oops. Hit post. If the demo gods are happy with you today. Let me go ahead and see if we already have one going there. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a channel, so let me go ahead and find a video. So go to Quick Start, grab a URL, put it into Yammer, and move on. One of the last integrations I want to show you guys today is Microsoft Forms. If you guys use Forms today in your organization, you know it's a great way to get feedback from the rest of your team, from the rest of your organizations, from people you're trying to communicate with. And we basically added on that and allowed you to take those and put it into a stream video to make it more interactive. So I have this training video here. When I'm the owner of a video, I can easily seek to whatever point in time I would like to insert this form and where it should be showed up, where it should display. So we go ahead and make sure that we copy the form URL. Got it. Put it in here. Name it, and then simply click Add to Timeline. And now that this is here, you'll see that we actually have a little indicator now, and if you hover over it, you can see it's called Important Question, which is the name of my form. And I can go ahead and hit play. And I'll talk a little through this. While it goes through the timeline, as soon as it hits that notifier there, it'll actually pause the content, render the form in line. It's not going to let you seek over it. We actually block that. So if you're trying to give a quiz to your students or other people in your org, and you're trying to make sure they're actually paying attention to the video, you're not going to let them go over it. It literally just seeks them back to where it's supposed to be, and they're like, no, you should finish this first. So in this case, do you believe in your mission to empower everyone with this video? I feel like I don't think it's too ambitious because training updates are pretty important, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I'm going to click continue the video. Oops. Sorry. I'm going to click submit. And as soon as that's done, I can hit continue onwards to the video and watch the rest of the video, or go through any other forms that are added in there. Now you can see the notifier is actually white, which means that now I can seek forward and back. And I can also click directly onto it as well in case I want to change my answer. But generally, you have more free-form control at that point. Now, as the form owner, all of that data and all those answers are aggregated on the form side, and I can see all the analytics on who saw it, who answered, and go talk to the people who haven't necessarily done that yet. And those are our main integrations. So I am going to switch back to Christina, who is number 1, while she walks up here.
You're right. We do need music.
We do. Are you 1 or 3, Christina?
I am 3 or 5. I'm 5.
5.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Before we jump into live events, I wanted to give a little bit of background on what live events are. About 2 months ago or so, we announced general availability of live and on-demand event capabilities. And when I refer to events, I'm really talking about using video and conversation to reach thousands of people, large audiences. And this is actually something available across Yammer, across Stream, and across Teams. And today we're going to show you the experience in Stream, because this is a Stream session. But before we do that, I want to talk to you a little bit about the different use cases. So each app has a slightly different use case and different scenarios. With Stream, there's not an associated conversation like you would get with a Yammer or Teams. And so it's really about taking that live feed and either watching it in Stream or embedding it somewhere like on your SharePoint intranet. So if your CEO wanted to broadcast to the entire organization, you can take that feed, put it on the front page of your intranet, and people can go there to watch live. And then after it's over, they can also go back to revisit it and watch the recording. In Yammer, the experience is slightly different because Yammer operates differently. Yammer, as I mentioned earlier, is this tool where you can talk to anyone across the organization, people you don't know, and you kind of rally around certain topics. Or if your CEO has a Yammer channel, for example, and that's how he keeps a pulse on the organization, he talks to people through that tool, he listens to people through that tool, it makes sense to host a live event there because you can broadcast in that same environment. So people are coming, having discussion around the event, asking questions. And then with Teams, the experience is even a little bit different, where a lot of times with Teams, you work with people closely, but Teams also gives you the ability to broadcast outside your organization today. And so we see a lot of customers using Teams to host webinars inside their organization, but also outside their organization. And in Teams, you can do a very simple screen share or perhaps use a webcam. And it's very easy to set up. It's almost like setting up a meeting. And there's a moderated Q&A scenario associated with Teams. And it's different than Yammer, because Yammer, anyone can participate. Anyone can talk and type whatever they want and have a discussion. With Teams, it's more curated, where the presenter actually owns that power of being able to publish questions when people submit them and publish answers. And so, like I said, Saili's going to go ahead and come up and demo, but before that, I wanted to talk about the flexible production options. So right now today, there's somebody in the back of the room who is recording this, and he has a fancy camera. And he has that and has various audio feeds plugged into a piece of software that is then feeding into wherever this is being broadcast. And that is this, on the, I guess it would be your right-hand side, that's kind of the professional option if you want to do a session with a stage. You have a small audience, you want to broadcast out, you have a lot of equipment to connect together. And then all the way on the other end is what I mentioned with Teams. You can use that for more simple things, so essentially broadcasting your screen or just using your webcam and setting it up similar to a meeting. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and invite Saili back on stage, and she will give you a taste of what...
No problem. So we are going to switch back to me. And I'm going to sit down. So yeah, as Christina said, I'm going to give you a quick demo of how to create a live event in Stream. It's actually super easy. She was talking a little bit about how we're recording in the back, and we need AV people and beefy encoders and like TriCasters and switchers and stuff like that. You don't necessarily actually need to do that if you want something just a little closer to home, a little quicker, a little faster. There's a lot of medium grounds that are available via like softwares that you can just use to stream itself, and all you need is a laptop or a computer or something, and then you're set to go. So it's really easy. All I'm going to do is hit create live event. And then this takes you to our producer sort of studio view. This gives you the opportunity to give your live event a name. You can call it Saili's live event. A description. These are the hashtags and things that are additionally going to get indexed and are now deep searchable again as soon as this video is live, and also when it's on demand later. Hashtag, yay. hashtag SPO. I can upload a thumbnail if I choose the language, and this is a really cool part. You can kind of schedule and decide when your start time is going to be. In this case, of course, we're just gonna choose, as soon as, I'm connected and ready to start streaming. But if you're creating a CEO town hall or even something smaller in the scale of your own team, you probably want to set all this stuff up beforehand and actually schedule the event to be like, in the future, just so you can actually play around with it and verify that everything is working as it should. Because in the world of producing, things don't always, and in the world of demoing, things don't always work immediately as they should the first time. So always give yourself some time if you're a producer, if you're creating a live event like that, to just figure things out, make sure you understand how the hooks work and whatnot. The next thing I'm going to do is actually set my permissions. I want everyone at my company to see this awesome live event, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this checked. But if I wanted to, similar to videos that I upload into the portal as on-demand videos, I can also choose if I want to add them to a channel or share it with a specific group or just maybe with one specific person. It's totally up to me. And then finally, I have options for once the live event is complete and it turns into a sort of recording of it and like an on-demand video that you can go and watch and see back and forth after the event is completely done, you get the choice to determine whether you want that people detection to be turned on, if you want comments on or off during, and if you want a caption file to be auto-generated. So again, if you want that accessibility, if you want that auto-transcription, and you want that deep search, then you're gonna checkbox that as yes. So next I'm going to hit save, and that sort of starts getting things warmed up. I'm going to hit start setup, and what this does is basically kicks off a bunch of processes in the backend that hook up to our platform as a service, which is called Azure Media Services. So that's warming up the channels, getting the pools ready, doing all that stuff that you don't necessarily want to think about because you just want to immediately go live. So while that's happening, it's getting your live event ready. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Now it's ready to connect already. And this is sort of where you choose, we were talking about what your adventure is. We have a list of softwares and hardware encoders that you can just choose from, and that'll actually automatically launch experiences for you. So I'm going to click Wirecast S. Or you can actually manually configure as well. So we can do either of those because I have Wirecast already installed. So I can just take this and copy it. And I have this in the background already. So actually, let's just do it from the beginning. You can create a brand new instance of Wirecast, and then you can decide what your sources are going to be. It's going to give you a slate. It gives you the opportunity to cast whatever's on your screen. You can switch different sources. You can add other people in as well. It's completely what you want to do. And the cool thing about Wirecast or OBS or other software encoders is that you don't need to have this beefy camera and hardware component in your unit with you. You can really just use whatever you have on your machine. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this. No. Let's see if we can do it this way. And as soon as this gets launched, it actually gives me the opportunity to choose a specific template. I can use a blank one, or if you have a fun announcement or a presentation or something like a town hall, it actually gives you a quick preview of some of the things that it's going to provide for you in that case. You don't have to start from scratch if you don't want to. So yeah, I'm going to choose a town hall. I'm going to give myself a name, a title. You can add a logo if you want. You can choose the camera. In this case, I'm going to do the front because I think this is blocking my rear camera. But I'm sorry, you're going to have to look at my face for a little bit. And of course, a microphone. So then I'm going to hit next. Now you can't see this, but my webcam is starting up, my hardware is starting to go. You can see that I have a slate now, multiple layers that allow me to do other cool stuff. So then I am going to hit start streaming. It knows that my destination is Microsoft Stream, so I'll hit, yep, that sounds good. I am going to give it the URL that I grabbed from the portal. Hit OK. And then this is should turn green. So in the meantime, you can see that this is ready to connect. It's green, which means we are ready to party. I'm going to see if I can do a side-by-side view. So it's going to take a little time for these to start connecting. Basically, never mind, it's going to do absolutely immediately. So we're ready to go live now. If you give it a couple seconds, the producer view is going to give you a sort of a preview of what's happening in the live stream, which allows you to make sure that everything is exactly as you want it to be. So right now it's on the slate that I left, but I can switch between my screen or my camera. And that transitions quite nicely, actually. And then you can see in a couple of seconds, you know, we're not exactly on the live edge, and then there's a bit of a delay just for consistency. And so, you know, if anything happens on the server side, the client side can forgive. So basically, we make sure that the stream is exactly what it's supposed to be. And if that's the case, you can also switch to the audience view and see what they're seeing. The audience view will have a bit of a delay as well, just so you as the producer can see what's happening beforehand. And if that's good to go, then you can go ahead and click Start Event. So this will create the live event. If there's anybody on the portal page in this case as an admin, you can actually spotlight it so people can see it later, and people are notified and they know that there's a cool live event going, so we can grab this. You can, of course, put this in Teams, in SharePoint, in Yammer. Everything you can do with a video on demand, you can embed seamlessly via the live event as well. So, oops. Sorry. That's basically how to use live events in Stream. So switching back to this slide, Christina's going to talk a little bit more about roadmap, what's available now, what's coming soon, and all the other juicy details. Should I stay up here for Q&A? Yeah.
Okie doke. So, yeah, we wanted to share a few updates with you. We've recently released some of the stuff that you guys saw today. We are coming up on a couple other things that we're going to be releasing soon, including things like if you have a video that is posted on SharePoint and then you have an updated video and need to replace it, you can retain that URL so you're not doing a lot of replacing like that. We're adding some other capabilities like top of mind, I think, is really sharing videos outside your organization. We get a lot of requests for something we call guest user authentication. So that would be me taking a video, sending it to somebody outside of my tenant, but they do have to actually authenticate before they watch it. And then a little bit later, we also have things like Microsoft Search integration. We didn't really go into a lot of the admin stuff and the measuring and monitoring, but we have more viewer analytics and things like how many people watched this video, how long did they watch, and those things coming as well. So I won't go through all of these. Anything else top of mind before we open it up for Q&A?
Nope, that's it. Oh, well, that's everything top of mind.
Okay, awesome. So I don't think we have a microphone or anything, but does anybody has questions? Yes.
So, yeah, so just I have this camera, like it's a 360 camera.
Mm-hmm.
And this camera can record 360 altogether. And most of the training videos and learning videos are organization developing in a 3D view. So is it possible that this 360 view can be recorded and displayed on the screen?
So, not quite today. So, okay.
Really quick, the question is, can I use 360 degree videos in stream?
So it's not necessarily on our roadmap. We technically have the tech to do that, but the player actually needs to have additional work done on it so it can actually render the 360. So nothing's going to stop you from putting it up there, but when you look at it on stream, it's going to be sort of flattened out. We've had a couple of proof of concepts done in the past, but it just needs to be taken through the pipeline as any other engineering work is done to actually be integrated in it correctly and viably. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
So data is costly out in the world. I have a lot of service techs that are on the road. They only have cellular. So is there a way of optimizing the video that goes out to them through stream?
Do you want to?
Optimize in terms of, less data consumption.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in YouTube.
Right. So you have a couple of options. One is I know, and I'm just going to kind of. I think the question was, could you optimize the quality of the video that's being delivered to your entire company? And he was mentioning that his company has a lot of people out on the road, and cellular data, it's expensive. So you have a couple of options. So top of mind, if you're internal and you're on the corporate network, which I know is not the case when you're on cellular, but if you are on the corporate network, we have partnerships with third-party eCDNs today, and they sort of can act as a valve in that case to determine what is the best quality, and they can throttle in the right cases and let you go completely ham in the other correct cases. So that works really well internally. For externally, and this works with our player in general, we actually have settings cog in the skin for the player that lets you force the bitrate that you're playing back at. So again, you can't set a default for that, but if the person who's viewing is sensitive to the fact that they're on cellular and they only want to use a lower quality, they can actually force that themselves.
It's at the app level?
It's at the app layer level.
So that means, okay.
Yeah.
So that's not a good option.
Right. And then the last option is, and you mentioned that they're on the road, is, and I think you mentioned this a little bit in your demo for mobile, they can technically download their content for offline playback. So.
And that's my second question. If they have Android phones, is there a way of pointing the repository to an external SD card, micro SD card?
No, not today. And the reason for that is you can't move it, basically, and that actually has to do with a lot of compliance issues and having encryption of something at rest versus something in transport and moving it offline. I'd be happy to talk to you a little bit more about the scenario offline or like after the talk, but today, basically, it's on your device because then it can be managed, yeah.
I'll keep going. How do you share a stream video with just individuals and not everyone, or is there an integration with Active Directory groups?
Sure. So yes, and yes. Basically, if you have a video that's uploaded, in the permissions panel, I kind of showed it to you a little bit for the live event, but it works the same on demand. Once it's uploaded, you can say either only I have access to it as the owner, or you can search for a specific person. And as long as you don't also have the available to the entire company checked, only the two of you will have access to that. And we use AAD to determine whether they have permissions or not.
So can you do it to an AD security group?
Yes, you can.
Oh, you can.
Modern groups and security groups, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll start here.
So just 360, the modern, but I know you're like, oh no. We do support IFrame in the generic web part. So if you grab our IFrame code and put it in there, and you're signed into SharePoint already, and it's signed in via the cloud, and you have your valid cookie there, then it should automatically sign in as well, or at least render in a way that you could sign in. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So not today, and let me make sure that I understand your question. You're saying anonymously, yeah. So he's asking if we can externally anonymously share. No, it is definitely on our roadmap, as you can see, and you can also see it on our public roadmap. Oh, don't worry, it's completely fine. It's top of mind, super important to us. Not available today, but we are actively working on it. I think you had a question.
Yeah.
I've created a channel for the town hall videos.
Cool.
But right now I've just been testing it with just individual users. But the channel is open to everyone. Is there, and I'm not able to add that video to the channel after the fact, is it because of the way the permissions are set?
It could be the permissions in that case, because if you have a private video and you want to put it to an all-company channel, it's probably blocking in that case. Otherwise, because the other thing is potentially it could just be available to everyone, so we're probably stopping you from doing that. Yes. Otherwise, you'll have conflicts there.
In the back?
Two questions for you. So we already have an enterprise video solution at our company. We would like for Teams users who would like to be able to use live events. Could we enable stream only for live events?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to say like, yeah, you should use everything else, but technically, and we've been hearing a lot of this more, especially after talking with with all you folks this week, you can definitely choose to have a pipeline where some of your videos for on-demand go to the service and the software you already have, and you use Stream just for live. Like, that's an option. Yes, absolutely. That's an admin setting, and we have a whole session on admin settings as well, which you should totally go to. Our friend Mark is running it, and he's just awesome. He's just really fun. So, and you should talk to him. It has been resolved. So basically, orphan content is now given ownership to the administrator. So they have those then, and then they can choose how they want to divvy it out, whether you want to pass it to the manager or other people on the team or something.
There's also an additional capability in the admin settings where you can search by individuals and see all of the video and content that they've uploaded, that they own, actions that they've taken.
Can we make for automatically for a very large organization, thousands of employees? So could we like OneDrive with 30 days of video review? Do we have that ability to stream?
So we don't today. I think the question is really around the retention policies with videos. We are working on e-discovery, legal hold, and some of those other capabilities where later this year you will be able to set a retention policy. For example, I want all of my team's meeting recordings to be deleted after 2 weeks and things like that. So that's coming. Gentleman in the middle. Yay!
We had a lot of content in Microsoft Video. So is there a process to migrate it from EC?
Yeah.
Do we need to do anything with quality or is it just
we are actually going to be sending a kind of a click-through wizard. So all of the admins of Office 365 Video go through a brief click-through process, and it will migrate all of your content over to Stream. And once you do that, it retains the permissions, the channels, and all the videos in the channels stay connected together. And all of the URLs that you've been using for Office 365 videos, those stay in place as well. And right now, within that kind of process of migration, we successfully migrated, I think, 12 or 13 of some of our largest customers to kind of make sure nothing broke when we sent it out to everybody. And so, and we're in a pretty good place. So I think in the next month, 2 months, somewhere in that time frame, we'll be deploying it more at scale. And so how that will work for an admin is you will see something come up and prompt you to migrate your content over in your UI. And then we'll give you 30 days or something like that to test everything out, make sure everything migrated appropriately. Let me go back here real quick. Yeah, sunglass.
Question with the Office 365 groups and channels, can you talk about the relationship there?
Sure. So Office 365 groups are things that are available. They apply to SharePoint. They apply to all of our other apps. So if those of you that are familiar with groups, when we talk about groups in Stream, we're talking about Office 365 groups. And in Stream, think about groups as kind of like the top level. And groups carry all of the permissions for every video that's going to be a part of that group. And so if I have a group for my leadership team, and only our leadership team is going to see any of these videos, you permission that group for your 10 people in your leadership team. And then underneath that group, you can populate channels. And these are not company-wide channels. These are channels that inherit the permissions of that group. So those 10 leaders will be the only people able to see these channels in this group. And I guess to take that a step further, then there's the concept of company-wide channels outside of a group. And so sometimes you have a lot of content, like Satya, our CEO, maybe you guys have heard of him, I don't know. He has a lot of channels that are company-wide channels. And so that just means that any video that's added, regardless of being part of a group or not, is available to everyone. No, inherently channels don't carry permissions on their own. They only carry permissions if they're within a group, and they inherit the group permissions. Okay, any other, yeah? Yes. Yeah.
Is there talk about better integration with the new web stream? Because currently we use all these other political editors for video, and it takes it to stream.
Oh, in the news. Oh, sorry. When you said new, I'm like, I showed it to you. No, that makes sense. There's been a little talk, especially we've been doing a little shop talk just because we're at SharePoint right now, so all of our SharePoint friends are here as well. I don't have like a timeline for you or something, but it's definitely top of mind as far as better integration goes.
Yeah. I think the last thing we worked on was the integration, so all of the out-of-the-box home sites that Jeff announced the other, God, it feels like it was a week ago, whenever the keynote was.
Yesterday?
Yesterday, was it just yesterday? So we are kind of catching up to the other various types of, comms sites, news sites, things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Hi.
So the gentleman up here had a question about the bit rate.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure I heard correctly that the videos, they are an adaptive bit rate where
They are.
browser will.
Oh, okay, yeah, so sorry. Sorry if that got confusing. They are totally adaptive, and as a result of that, we actually let you force a bit rate as well, just because it is adaptive. So when you upload it, it takes the highest quality, the MP4 or whatever you give it could potentially be, and then it steps it down a multitude of levels. So we have multiple versions of quality of the same content, and we break it into little chunks. So yeah, it's totally adaptive. While you're playing back, the heuristic of the player will be like, what bandwidth are you on? Can you handle the highest quality? If that's the case, then that's awesome. Just keep playing at that quality. But as soon as you maybe you're watching on your laptop and then you move to your phone and you're watching it, and cellular, if you're on 2G, 3G or something, it's going to be stepped down a little bit. It'll intelligently continue playing back to decrease the amount of buffering, but still, give you the highest quality you potentially could be. He was just asking if there's any way to force a specific bit rate, and really on the clients, on the actual players, the only way to do that, you can go to the settings cog and just hit give me a low quality if you want to.
And then just one other question. And just in any of your use case scenarios, with this deployed in a big company, we have a service that we're using and we're having some challenges just with bandwidth. The idea is that you include everybody to their computers and watch this stuff live, but then nothing else can happen. The entire, we're at 100% capacity. That was a bad thing. But in terms of how your other clients, is everybody using the ECDNs or
We have a fair number. I don't have data at the top of my head, but it's a pretty popular option because it does a very good job of optimizing the network and the bandwidth within your company itself, right? Because if I try to access something on Wi-Fi outside or my own cellular network or something, that doesn't impact me at all because I'm not on the network. I don't have access to the caching or the peer-to-peer streaming or anything like that. But if you're sitting there at your company or in the same corporate network, then absolutely. And there's a couple of different ways to do it. Like we said, caching is one option, peer-to-peer, which is kind of like BitTorrent, I guess, where you start streaming, and then if she starts streaming next to you, she'll actually be streaming from your source, which is awesome and very optimal. So we'd say it's a pretty good option, especially if that's a concern for you.
Right, but that's a third party, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when we see our customers using ECDN, it's mostly a lot of times associated with live events, although it can be with on-demand video, but it really shines when 10,000 people are watching the same live stream or the same video at exactly the same time. If throughout the day, you send out an email throughout the day, you have people clicking on the video and watching it, we don't, typically we don't see a lot of issues unless there's a lot of network problems, but without the ECDN. But those are some of the use cases where we see customers talking to our partners. Yeah.
So on that 10K limit, is there any talk as far as for bigger corporations that you guys are looking at expanding out that 10K?
Yeah. So he's asking about the limit for the number of attendees that can watch a live event at the same time. So today our limit is 10,000, and a couple points to that. We are looking, doing some scale testing to see how far we can push, and so without breaking it. Yeah. So, but an interesting point. So we are looking into that. But an interesting point is, even at Microsoft, so Satya does a monthly Q&A for all of the employees, and I think we have maybe 120,000 full-time employees, something like that, and I think that the most we've ever seen, well, up until a few months ago, the most we ever saw join was maybe 8,000 or 9,000 concurrently. And so even at Microsoft and these large organizations where Satya is talking, we still, and it has a lot to do with, I think, just time zones, with other things and responsibilities. And actually, another interesting point, can you tell I just met with our IT guys about this the other day? Another interesting point is that the most views happen the day after the event. So the on-demand, so more than 7,000 or 8,000 views happen the day after. And then it kind of trails off from there.
I was gonna add exactly, like I can't say I've watched every single live event that like Satya or someone showed up, because sometimes I have meetings during that time. But it's good because I know that that video is gonna be made available like, you know, the next day, or if it's a live event that you're doing yourself, like instantaneously. So you feel less concerned of being like, I have to watch this right now. Or even if you show up late, because we have that 4-hour DVR window. If you have a 4-hour event, which is, you know, the max, and you come in 3 hours late, you can still seek to the beginning and watch from the beginning if you want, if you don't mind not being at, you know, the cutting edge of the live edge. Yeah.
So when you set up your class stream, presented that out by the laptop, is that same if I was doing that by my mobile app?
So the mobile app today doesn't have a go to live where I can just click a button and start, like, you know, streaming from that. But we do have, I think we, I don't have it presenting anymore, but if you look at that drop down list, we have a couple of partners in that case, and I think one of them at least has like encoding on your mobile phone. So I guess the answer for that mainly is we support any kind of RTMP streaming. So if you have an encoder that happens to be on your mobile app that you can hook up to it, then you're good to go.
Okay, gentleman behind you, yep.
So, how much storage do you get per tenant for this? Because it used to go against your SharePoint.
Right. When we were Office, his question was how much storage you get for it. So when we were Office Video, you know, it's part of SharePoint and stuff. But today it's completely independent of that, and you start with 500 gigs. And then for every user that you have in your tenant, you have about half a gig per them as well, and it's all pulled together. So it's kind of variable at that point, but
It's kind of the same calculation as the SharePoint.
probably. But now it's not pooled with other SharePoint resources. It's just videos.
Yep.
Is that overall or based on your license? Like E5?
No, it's overall, yeah. And the way, even at Microsoft, I don't think we've hit our max yet, because the way it works is it's all Azure storage, first of all. And then on the back end, like Saili was saying, it's pooled storage. And so in a company of 120,000 people, we all have Office licenses. And maybe 3 to 5% of the company are actually uploading content. And they're the only ones eating that storage. When you play a video, it doesn't eat the storage or anything like that. It's just when you upload. And so since it's pooled, you can tap into all of the other 100 and whatever thousand people's storage pools. Yeah. Yep.
Last question. So I love the quizzes and that in the middle of the video, and that's an LMS function. Does Microsoft have, is there any roadmap to do more in the LMS space?
Yeah, so I can take that. The question is Stream going to do anything else in the LMS space, learning management system space? So what we are working on right now are opening up public APIs and creating APIs specific to some of the learning scenarios, so we can have integrations with things like some of the key learning tools like Cornerstone or SuccessFactors and tools like that. We don't really have a time frame for that yet that I can share publicly, but we are looking into it. So I think we'll continue to build interactivity into Stream in different ways to leverage in video. However, that core LMS functionality that a Cornerstone or SuccessFactors provides, we're going to leave that to the experts, and we're just going to integrate with them so we can be that video platform.
Jump on into this. As far as when you get to those where you can take a little quiz or a form portion, is there a way to currently have it where if they answer wrong to like not move forward until they get it correct? This is like a training.
No, it's awesome. Very mean, but very awesome. Not today, but this is a very iterative process. This is truly like the first phase of polls and quizzes and forums and stuff. Like the people are working on it.
Yeah, please put it in the user voice.
Exactly.
Did we have questions over here? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
You guys integrate with any like Polycom endpoint devices or anything like that? Or is that a future plan? And then also, if you record your sessions, do you do like dual streams, like a PowerPoint presentation, for instance? Do you record that and you change the layout of the recording?
Do you want to take it or you want me
Sure.
to?
So as far as Polycom School, we don't have any like native direct integrations with them, but we talked a little bit about how well we play with Teams. And for example, if you have a Polycom, you have Teams installed on that, you have a Teams meeting going on, then yes, as soon as you record it, because it's connected via the cloud, it will upload directly to us, and then you can still leverage all of the tech on our back end because that just happens. It basically comes for free in that case. And I think your other question, sorry, can you repeat your other question?
Oh, just about when you record a session.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, totally. So we actually didn't touch on this a little bit, and I was wondering if we should have gone back, but I'm glad you mentioned, so thanks for that. We have a really great publishing story with PowerPoint today, and let me know if this sort of adds to what you're saying right now, but you can basically go through, similar to what we did in this session, you go through every slide, and you can hit record the slide itself, and you can go through your deck and present it and actually hook up your webcam to it if you want as well. And because it's PowerPoint, you kind of have the access to editing however you want. So you can take like your little camera that you have, and it literally looks like a little photo of you, and you can move it from one part of the slide to the other in different slides. And as soon as it looks the way you want it to, you can hit publish to stream, and that turns into a super quick video, and it makes it a very easy way of making like kind of a fancy looking presentation actually. And then you have that integration where it's not just a slide and someone's voice, you have a photo of them or actually a webcam stream of them as well, and you can edit and move that as you see fit before you upload to stream.
And just to add on to that, in the live events capabilities, Saili showed you the Wirecast encoder software, and with that you can add different layers. So if you wanted to have yourself in the corner in a PowerPoint presenting, and then go back and forth, or maybe add a lower thirds title and stuff, you can mess around with all of that stuff. You could play a video during this, you could have music overlays. So as live events at least, that gives you a lot of options. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, one more time. Back up and restore. Back up and restore capabilities.
Sorry, Becca. Cool. Sorry. So we actually are talking about a new announcement. I think Mark will actually be showing it in his session later this week. We have something called a concept called a recycle bin now. So one of our big key issues has been people will sometimes accidentally delete videos that they shouldn't be deleted. And they're like, okay, cool, well, how do I undo it? And the answer up until now was, you can't. Just don't delete the videos to start with, which is a terrible answer. So now we have this great concept where we have this recycle bin, similar to recycle bin in Windows or recycle bins in real life, where if you throw something away, you can be like, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. And you have a certain amount of time, I think it's a fair number of weeks, that you can go and undo that. So you can, and not only can you undo that when you delete something or you undelete it or unrecycle it, it actually gets added to your admin's audit logs as well. So if someone deletes something incorrectly or does something that they weren't supposed to do, the admin can go in and check the logs and say, well, who's responsible for this?
And actually, I think we are going to get pulled off the stage.
Oh, no.
So please, other questions, come up, ask us afterwards. We'll be hanging out. And thank you guys so much for coming this morning.
And these are our other sessions. Please come to them.
Yeah, come to our other sessions. Thank you.